Our next speaker, who's edging to get in, is Dr. Vladimir Janev from Skopje. So you see, you can't just give attention to Monastir. There's another Jewish community, Skopje, and it's time to focus on Skopje. Dr. Janev is going to give a presentation on the history of the Jews in Skopje from the 19th to 20th century. Now, Dr. Janev right now, he's not in Skopje. He's in
I am currently in Yerevan, Armenia. In the program, it is written Tiblisi, Georgia, but actually it is the same time zone. So it's here, it's 9:13.
Right. Okay, without any further ado, Dr. Janev, let's hear your 20 minutes on the history of the Jews in Skopje.
Okay, so in Macedonia, during the Ottoman rule, there was a large Jewish community which was concentrated in larger city centers. Their way of socio-economic life, as well as the relations with the Ottoman administration and the conduct of the economic activity they were engaged in, are basically the main topic of this paper. I will start first with the position of the Jewish community in the Ottoman Empire in the 19th century. Although the Ottoman Empire was tolerant and accepted the exiled Jews, and there were no pogroms on the territory of Ottoman Empire in comparison to the European countries, yet there were cases of some restriction for the Jewish community in Ottoman Empire. These restrictions were putting Jews into a second-grade citizens, just like the other non-Muslim population. With the dissolution of the Janissary Corps in 1826, the position of the Jews in the Ottoman Empire improved. Hati Sherif of Gülhane promulgated on November the 3rd, 1839, nominally recognized the right of the Jews to testify in court, which they did not have previously, even to testify against Turks. Confiscations were terminated and civil rights were granted, as had all Turks. 4 years later, the Grand Vizier Riza Pasha, in the name of the Sultan, confirmed all civil rights for all communities in the Ottoman Empire. Although this confirmation was repeated in 1846 by the new Grand Vizier, Reshid Pasha, it is known that none of these declarations brought any substantial changes in the social conditions of the Jews. In 1856, the Sultan issued the Hati Humayun, in which the Sultan again confirmed the former privileges and civil rights for all citizens of the Ottoman Empire. All these were formal privileges, and those to take best advantage of such rights were the rich members of the Jewish community, who were now able to enrich themselves more easily, paving the way for the development of industry. In the context of social stratification within the Jewish community in Macedonia, there are interesting data on large Jewish landowners, owners of farms. There is one example about privileges regarding Jews that are perceived from a record from January 30, 1903, which refers to the granting of the use of a plot of land by the member of the Jewish community, Bahor, to the Captain Hussein of the composition of the gendarmerie detachments in Skopje. On consideration of the stated socio-economic situation of the Jews are followed by some relevant data which refer to the civil services and the privileges given to the Jews. Thus, for example, in a census book from February 1870, besides the other, refers to Jews, Greeks, and Armenians who worked as customs officer in cities of Istanbul, Thessaloniki, Skopje, and other cities in the Ottoman Empire. Other data from the beginning of 1889 refer to the elections of members of the Central Council of the Kosovo Vilayet based in Skopje, in which a total of 4 members were elected, and one of them was the member of the Jewish community, Mekor. Sometime a bit later, the aforementioned member, Mekor, of the Jewish community was replaced by another member of the Jewish community, Behoz. From other historical data registered on April 7, 1894, is seen as the main the member of the Jewish community Mercado became a main collector of the tax ushur and on the territory of city of Skopje and its surrounding area. The member of the Jewish community Mercado was required to settle liabilities and duties, that is to determine whether there is an excess of or shortage on the sum of the sums collected from taxes. There is another data about, let's say, about 19th century of some a few prominent Jews mentioned in 1819 who lived in Skopje: Rabbi Elazar Nachmias, Dayan Baruch Gatenyo, Raphael Shlomo HaKohen, and Yaakov Adiges. Now, I will mention one example about forced Islamization at the beginning of the 20th century in Skopje. So there is one case of forced Islamization in 1901 in Skopje, where there was a case of kidnapping of a Jewish girl in Skopje. So Turks took her to harem of the Skopje village chief of the gendarmerie, Mehmet Pasha, to convert her to Islam. The next day, the Jewish girl escaped from harem and hid in one Bulgarian house. The owner of the house was Zafir. So he was beaten by the officials, by the chase, but the Jewish girl was not found in his house. At the end of the report states that the escaped Jewish girl wanted to go to Thessaloniki to flee from Skopje, but Mehmet Pasha ordered not to let her on the railway. And there is no further information what about this case. It ends officially with these informations. Now I will switch to demography about Jewish community in Skopje in the 19th century. According to Defter for Incomes of the Jewish community in Skopje from 1844, there were 62 Jewish families in Skopje. The Jewish district, or the Jewish, as we say, Mal or Mahala, in Skopje was located on the left side on the river Vardar, right to the stone bridge. And anyone of you who came to Skopje knows that stone bridge is the main center of the city. According to Defter for the tax jizya of the Jews from Skopje Kaza from 1848-1849, in Skopje were 75 Jewish houses with 139 Jews. Only men and boys were taken into this census. As well, there were 12 Jews newcomers in Skopje. The following is the register from June 1858, where Jews are registered. They are registered data on the number of Jews, Muslims, Roma population, and foreigners, and for the places where they lived, as well as data for the villages in the vicinity of Skopje. Around 1865, there were 21,800 inhabitants in Skopje, of which around 800 were Jews. In the 70s of the 19th century, in Skopje lived 800 Jews. So the previous data are followed by two more Ottoman documents for separate registration of Jews as residents of the city of Skopje. The first document, the first case, concerns a confirmation of from 18th of November 1876 for the member of the Jewish community Davey, in which is stating that he is the son of the money changers, as we say, Saraf, Yaakov from Skopje. With the other document from January 29, 1878, it confirms that Manuel Zeki was born in the city of Skopje in 1878 as the son of Harun, member of the Jewish community in Skopje. According to census in Ottoman Empire from 1881-1882, in Skopje lived 724 Jews, 416 men, and 308 women. So according to Kemal Karpat in 1894, in Kosovo Vilayet, with the center in Skopje, lived 1,706 Jews, among them 901 men and 808 women. According to the data from the census in 1897, in Kosovo Vilayet, with the center in Skopje, lived 1,885 Jews, which of them and 938 men and 947 women. Serbian author Jovan Cvic mentioned that at the end of the 19th century in Skopje lived 1,750 Jews, and according to Bulgarian author Vasil Krnčov, in 1900 in Skopje lived around 800 Jews. It is interesting to mention a request of the Ottoman authorities from May 16, 1900, to send a document from Istanbul to the birth of Moshe, son of Mordechai, a resident of the Jewish quarter in Skopje. According to the Polish author Włodzimierz Tromczyński, he mentions the data about 1,200 Jews in Skopje in 1903, and okay, I will switch. According to the magazine Macedonian Review, Makedonski Pregled, from 1905, they stating the figure of 1,940 Jewish inhabitants in Skopje, while in a report sent to the Department of Foreign Affairs of the Ottoman Empire of February 26, 1905, it is reported that this is an example about migration. So from Skopje, it is reported for certain persons who lived now in Belgrade and were originally members of the Jewish community from Skopje. Within the census of 1906-1907 conducted on the territory of the Ottoman Empire, was noted that in 1906-1907 there were 630 Jewish men and 568 Jewish women. According to the World Jewish Alliance for 1908, they are mentioning the figure of 1,300 Jews in Skopje, while in two requests for registration of residence in the Jewish quarter in Skopje, there is data from August 18, 1909 for residence of the person Nesur Salaman, who was a resident of Kyustendil, that is a town from Bulgaria, and notification dated on October 16, 1909 concerning the request of the member of the Jewish community Buhur Salaman, who also emigrated from Kyustendil to Skopje. And as a last statistical data, the Bulgarian author Saul Mezan points out that in 1912, in Skopje, there were between 1,700 and 12,000 Jews. During the Ottoman period, the members of the Jewish community in Macedonian cities had various economic activities: merchants, craftsmen, financiers, industrialists. The Jewish merchants traded with a large amount of different goods at the internal and the external market. In order to successfully perform the trade activity, they had to know the consumer needs, both on the external and the internal market. That was a close connection with the manufacturers of goods on one hand, and an active stimulation of the production on the market on the other hand. In that way, the Jewish merchants indirectly helped the development of the economic relations in the Ottoman Empire. With their activity, the Jewish merchants also contributed to the rapid development of the financial and commodity relation in Macedonia as an integral part of the Ottoman Empire. And I will give one example about Skopje. In the report of the Consul General of the Kingdom of Serbia in Skopje, George Popovic, dated from February 1st, 1889, he mentions the complaint of Kocho Kondrodimo. He was a chief representative of the trading house of the Alatini family for Skopje, regarding the transport congestion of grain purchased in the Kingdom of Serbia in the city of Leskovac. In the report of Consul Popovic from March 18, 1889, again speaks of the difficulties which pays the trading house Alatini for the export of grain from the Kingdom of Serbia, namely the Serbian customs authorities, and in addition to 1% for the export duty, charge another 50 Serbian dinars from each wagon, so like half a pair per kilogram of grain. This case is also mentioned in the reports of Council Popovic from 19th and 24th of June 1889, which explain in detail problems in transporting of 100 wagons of grain purchased in Niš and in Leskovac from Serbia by Kočo Kondrodimo, who was the main representative of the house Alatini in Skopje. So I will switch now to...
I just want to say 1 second, Vladimir. The Alatinis were the wealthiest family from Salonika, from Thessaloniki. Yes. So people may not understand that, but what you've given is valuable.
Yes, Alatini is very, they are very like, they were not only very, very rich family, they were philanthropes. They were helping a lot, opening schools in Thessaloniki, and let's say one of the most noble families, if I say about a Jewish community in Macedonia, in the whole region of Macedonia, Alatini family is, let's say, the most famous family, as we say, I can. But they were originally from Italy, emigrated to Thessaloniki, to Salonika, and yes.
They were Livornese Jews who were called Francos, who established themselves in the Ottoman Empire. Since the end of the 19th century, 18th century, they were in Salonika. But what you're saying is it's important because we don't know a lot about their economic activities outside of Salonika. So you're opening up.
That is what I mentioned, because okay, in my doctor thesis, a lot is mentioned. For example, I'm quoting Mark Mazover book about Salonika, city of ghosts. It's a perfect, let's say, about for anyone who is interested in Jewish community in Salonika, in Thessaloniki. That is this book from Mark Mazover is a must read. So, but I choose this because it's related to Skopje, like something that is like.
All right, Zvi Zohar hasn't arrived yet. You have maybe a few more minutes, or if they're he's here. Okay.
Is there also this information written somewhere that you can send us a paper?
Yeah, okay. This is a part of my doctor thesis, my book, which is published on Macedonian language. I remember I sent one in PDF. I sent to Professor Itzhak Kerem, but so far it is only in Macedonian language.
We will manage it. We have
Edward, do you have a question for Vladimir? All right, whatever. Okay, Avram, are you ready for Zvi Zohar's slides? Okay, so for Vladimir, thank you very much, Dr. Vladimir Janev. We appreciate your collaboration. We're going to do a lot of things in the future. You can also help us greatly on the ground in Skopje, and you can help us get a lot of publications, which they don't want to send me from Skopje.
Yes, okay. I mean, about the things that you send me about, it's a bit about this topic, you know, about the museum and corruption and so on. It's a blackout in my country. I mean, the official media don't inform like anything. I mean, anything relevant.
Okay, but being more moderate, still, there are like 5 different books that were published in Skopje about the Bulgarian occupation of Jews in the Holocaust.
Yes.
Even though they're written in, it doesn't matter, they're written in Macedonian, Bulgarian. It's like, it's important that I get them. And so you can help me.
Yes, I will send it. Okay. Don't worry.
Like Sofia Gradevsky's 2 volumes and all sorts of stuff.
Okay, thank you for inviting me to this conference.
Okay, Vladimir,
I appreciate it a lot.
Thank you very much.
It was excellent. Thank you very much.
Later on, Skopje.
Okay, Litrot, bye.